So Game of Thrones is finally over. The final season is done until the spin-offs. Hopefully one of the spin-offs is Arya's conquest, Arya's adventure. Hopefully that they make a spin-off on that, because it looks pretty interesting, so I want to know what she does. Hopefully that's a spin-off. But whatever the spin-offs are, whatever the prequels are, I hope they're good, but that's for another discussion. So today's about Game of Thrones final season. It is not quite how most of us wanted it, is it? The way they did this season was not the greatest. I didn't hate it personally, but a lot of people did, and I understand why. The petition thing is too far though. There were actual petitions. There was a petition to remake the season. That's too far, okay? It's just a TV show. Let's all calm down. Let's not go there. But I understand the hate. I understand what people were frustrated with it from episode 3 onwards. I understand it completely. And episode 5 as well, that was where it really went over the line properly. And that's where up to the point where the bells rang in episode 5, I felt the season was fine. I felt it was done well enough. But when she started killing innocents, that's when it went too far. That's when it started to go properly wrong. And I was disappointed. I was a bit disappointed. I didn't hate it like a lot of people. I think there's a lot of good things about it. There were great visuals. I know visuals don't make a great show anyway, but the visuals were great for a TV show. It was fantastic, especially in episode 5 and 6. The visuals, they look beautiful. There were some beautiful shots in there for sure. Cinematography, all good. And character moments. One of the best parts of this season, and the show in general, all 8 seasons, are the character moments. What I love the most, when I first started watching it, there was no dragons. I love dragons, I love the ice zombies, but there were no dragons back then. What really got me hooked into the show in season 1 was the character moments, the politics, the conversations. It was very interesting, and it was set in medieval times, obviously, fantasy. It's a fantasy sort of thing, and it was so interesting to me, and it still is, to be fair. It was very interesting, the concept of the show. But one of the best parts has always been character moments, and we had some good ones throughout the season. Tyrion and Jaime in season 8, episode 5 or 4, either way, when he freed him, that was a great brother-to-brother scene. And in this scene as well, there were quite a few conversations, Jon and Tyrion, other conversations as well that were quite interesting. I quite liked, in the finale, that scene between all the lords and ladies of Westeros and Grey Worm and Tyrion. I liked that scene. I thought it was pretty funny as well. I quite liked it. The finale, based on how things went, I'm not saying it was the best finale. It wasn't the best possible finale, but considering how episode 5 went, considering that can't be changed, for me, they picked a good finale. They did a good finale based on what happened already. If it happened differently, then it didn't go mad, then it would have been a bad ending. But for me, the ending kind of redeemed itself a little bit. It didn't redeem itself, the show, but a little bit. The ending I felt was fine, except for Bran being king. I just felt it was a bit weird. Then again, who knows? Maybe he was gunning for it the whole time. Maybe he wanted the throne the whole time. Maybe he knew that Drogon was gonna burn King's Landing. Maybe he knew that, because I'm pretty sure he saw a vision of a dragon flying over the city. So he might have seen something. So maybe he knew, and that would make him a bit of a maniac, to be honest, because he knew people were gonna die. Then again, if you can predict the future, you wouldn't tell people, because that could affect things. It's like Doctor Strange in Endgame. It wouldn't affect things anyway. So I get that, but the finale, I felt, based on what already happened, I thought the finale was fine. But the best character development of season 8 was Drogon, a CGI dragon that's not real. It's done through computer effects. That dragon had the most emotion throughout the season, had the most character development throughout the season, which is kind of funny, but I do love Drogon. One of my favourite parts of the show, the dragons. Obviously, character moments, politics, big battle scenes, ice zombies, the White Walkers, they were cool, the dragons. There's a lot of cool aspects of this. It is, I don't know what the word is for it. It's the epitome. No, it is. I'm trying to think of the right word, and I can't even think of it in my head. I know the word, I just can't think of it. It is the epitome of fantasy. It is like, it's what you want to see from like a fantasy sort of show, and it's just awesome to me to see dragons and ice zombies and all these big battles. But yeah, a lot of people seem to hate season 7 quite a lot, and I'm just like, it wasn't, for me that was great. Like, I get that it was rushed, it was a little bit rushed, I get that, but for me they rushed it in a good way. For me season 7 was amazing, but I guess season 8 made people hate it more, because I didn't see that much hate for season 7. I did see some hate, some people were like it's too rushed, but I think a lot of people liked it, including myself. But now there's more hate for that season after season 8. They did rush it, to be honest. I don't see why they couldn't have increased it to 10 episodes anyway. They should have done 10 episodes for both seasons. And there's one person I saw that said they should have focused season 7 on the Night King as the villain for the whole season. Then he's defeated, and the last season should have been about just about the throne, Cersei and Dany. And that probably could have been better, to be fair. But having said that, I still love season 7. For me, season 7 had 3 of the best episodes. Episode 4, 5 and 7. Or 4, 6 and 7. The episode where Dany attacked with the Dothraki on the Lannisters and Drogon. That episode. The episode where Viserion dies. And the finale of season 7. For me, those are the best. Not the best, but 3 of the best episodes of the show. Not the top 3, but Battle of the Bastards. A few other things are up there from the first few seasons. First 6 seasons. But for me, 3 episodes from season 7 were up there with the best episode of the show. In my opinion, anyway. For me, it was like really, really good. But season 8, you see, I felt they were doing fine up until episode 4. That's where I think they went wrong. Let me explain a little bit. Basically, episode 1 and 2 were like the calm before the storm. Some people thought, well, it's too slow. We need more action. But for me, it was fine. For me, the first episodes being like about character moments, like. Character moments were one of the best parts of the show, as I said. Like, there are a lot of those in the first 2 episodes. In the first episode, you get the intros to everyone. You get Jaime and Bran meeting up. You get, obviously, a lot of reunions. In episode 2, you get more reunions, more of a build-up, more development, more character moments. Like Jaime knighting Brienne, that was great. Tyrion, Bronn, Jaime having a conversation in episode. That was in episode 4, though, but. There were a lot of good moments, I feel, in those first 2 episodes, and I felt it was really, really good. Like, genuinely, I felt that was like, it was awesome, like, those 2 episodes. And then the long night came along, episode 3. Now, the reason I was fine with it was because Arya killing the Night King, for me, was a crazy twist. It was an awesome and crazy twist, and I felt that was, like, that was really cool. For me, that made up for the episode, because the episode, for me, it felt like there was something missing. And it's not because it was too dark. Like, it was too dark. It was definitely too dark. Also, like, I watch it on a streaming service, Now TV. They show Sky Atlantic here. They show HBO Live. And my TV was on the side, so I had to watch my laptop. And I saw lines on the screen as well. So, like, streaming quality... That's why streaming quality will never be as good as, like, big screen quality or Blu-ray or DVD. Just like when you stream something, it's not going to be the same quality. That's just how it is. But for me, it was worse than other people, because I was seeing lines on the screen for some reason. I'm pretty sure people didn't have that problem, but most people's complaints were you couldn't see the battle that much, and that's fair. Like, you couldn't see the battles. One thing that I thought that was great was the Dothraki going forward, and the lights were going out, and the fire were going out, like them dying one by one. And that's the thing, right? There were like 3 or 4 Dothraki alive after that battle. Why were there so many in the finale? Like, I don't understand. Like, where did they come from? Did they respawn? Like, is this Call of Duty? Did they just respawn and just come back? I'm so confused, because the Dothraki, most of them died. Where did the rest come from? Did they leave half an army on the side or something? Like, what's going on? I'm so confused. Like, genuinely, I'm so confused. Like, I'm baffled by how there's so many Dothraki. Nothing against them, by the way, but they showed them die, most of them. Where did they come from? I'm so confused. Was there more of them in Essos? I don't even know. I don't know what, how. Even the Unsullied, actually. The Unsullied didn't lose as much, but it did feel like they had more soldiers in the finale than before the Long Nights, for some reason. Like, I was so, like, confused by that. Anyway, yeah, one of the biggest missteps of this whole show was the development of Daenerys and Jaime Lannister. Those were the main faults of this show. If they got those characters right, it might not have been as bad. Daenerys, like, I understand they were foreshadowing it. Her becoming the Mad Queen has been foreshadowed for seasons. It's not just been this season. It's just the fact that when it happened too fast. It was too rushed, and that was the main problem. For me, I didn't want the Mad Queen anyway, but you can have the Mad Queen as long as you develop it and build it up in the right way. They rushed it. They rushed it completely. But for me, whether they rushed it or not, they shouldn't have done it anyway. For me, the moment the bells rang, I felt her story was done fine. Like, I had no issue with her killing soldiers, taking out the Golden Company, Lannister soldiers. Even after they surrendered, this might sound harsh, but even after they surrendered, I did not have an issue with the Lannister soldiers dying. I had no issue. Absolutely no issue. Someone at my door. So when Grey Worm was executing the soldiers, obviously, you know, in the finale, I was okay with it because they were Lannister soldiers. For me, the Lannisters are evil as well. Like, they've done a lot of evil in the past, not just on the screen but off screen as well. And Cersei herself, she killed hundreds of people, like, and everyone knew it as well, and they still served her. So, you know, it's like, I know they're just doing their jobs, but you know, that's like saying the Nazis were just doing their jobs. You can't use that as an excuse. They're still evil people. So I didn't really have an issue with the Lannister soldiers being killed off. It's the civilians where it really hurts. Like, that was just like, they've crossed the line here. Like, it's disappointing that they've done this. And then again with Jaime, and also with Jaime Lannister as well, and with him, like, they developed him so much over all these seasons, over all these years, just for him to revert back to the character he was in the first season. Like, they shouldn't. What was the point of developing him all this time if he's just going to turn back? I know that some people say, like, no matter how much you try to change yourself, you'll always be the same person. They were using that logic. It didn't quite work for me with Jaime. It's a bit disappointing how it ended for him. I would have at least liked to. I would have liked to think that it was a bait and switch, that he went there to kill Cersei. That would have been better, but that was not the case. So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, back to the Long Night. I forgot to mention what I felt like from that battle. There was something missing. Like, I was expecting the best battle of Game of Thrones ever, and it didn't deliver for me. It didn't. It wasn't anywhere near as good as Battle of the Bastards. It's not just because it was dark. It just felt like there was something missing. I saw enough. It just felt like there was something missing. There was some cool moments, some cool battles, but something was missing from it. Something was missing. But then when Arya killed the Night King, that for me made up for it. For me, that was an epic ending and a surprising and a shock ending. This season, whatever you think of it, delivers on the shock factor for sure. Shock factor is definitely there, and that Arya thing was amazing. And the Azor Ahai theory, well, it's not a theory, it's a prophecy that didn't come to fruition, did it? Like, a lot of prophecies didn't. To be fair, the show's not like the books, but still, you know, it's a bit weird that those things didn't happen. It's just a little strange. Although technically you could say that Tyrion and Jaime killed Cersei because it was their plan that led her to the Red Keep under it, and then they got crushed. So accidentally they killed her, technically, but still, that's not really fulfilling anything, is it? Not really. And then, but still, I was fine with the whole show up until season 8, episode 3. Up to then, it was completely fine. Episode 4. Now this might surprise some people, but for me, this was the worst episode, easily worse than episode 5. Actually, like, that's a bit controversial, I think, because I think a lot of people were most angry about episode 5. Episode 4 for me, like, I feel like a lot of it was unnecessary, and also the worst part of it was Rhaegal's death. Like, I don't mind Rhaegal dying, but his death made no sense. Like, Euron had a fleet of 11 ships. I know they were behind a hill, but Dany was on top of 2 dragons. On top of a dragon, there's another dragon there, and somehow they couldn't see the fleet, and they hit him 3 times. It didn't make any sense, and it wasn't like a fully grown dragon is like a 1 in a million chance to hit. And what, is Rhaegar not fully grown or something? Like, what's going on? How did they hit him 3 times? And how did they reload so quickly as well when shooting? It didn't make any sense, that episode, to be honest. But when Missandei died, I was like, I could see that she was being driven mad, Daenerys. Like, Missandei died, Rhaegar died, Jorah died. she lost her trust in Tyrion. Jon rejected her. The other things as well. I get that. I get there was no one to check her impulses anymore, but still, the fact that she still snapped was still frustrating to me. It was just done way too fast. And episode 4 was a contributor towards that as well. Episode 5, it was epic and amazing up until the bells. After the bells, as I said already, that's where they went completely wrong, and I disagree with what they did with Daenerys. What should happen instead is she should have just gone straight for the Red Keep. Just go straight for Cersei. And yes, I know there were innocents under the Red Keep, and I don't want them to die either. But if she just burned down the Red Keep and some innocents died, I would have taken that. Especially compared to what we got in this one. What I would have preferred is they lost the big war, the Great War, the Night King. They lost, but most of them escaped down south, and Cersei was forced to help them. If that makes sense, like it wouldn't make sense as simple as that, but you'd have to like make it more complex, make it make sense. But I think that's what should have happened. Like it should have been everyone against the Night King, and then like the final 2 episodes about like the throne. You know, I thought it could have been done like that, to be fair. But you know, like I had no issue with the Northmen attacking the Lannisters, because there's a lot of bad blood there. The Lannisters, they killed their king wrong. They killed Ned. They gave the North to the Boltons. You can see the anger in the Northmen there. I thought that was very fitting. I feel for them to kill the Lannisters. But when they started killing off innocents as well, that's when it started getting too much as well. So yeah, many missteps, but I wouldn't put it past the Northmen to do that anyway, because they also had a lot of hate towards the South anyway, so it kind of made sense to me. But yeah, Daenerys wasn't done right. It wasn't done right. Again, though, back to the finale, as I said earlier, the finale for me, based on what happened, it was done in the right way, I feel, just based on the previous 5 episodes. Like, if the season went differently, I would have said different, but the ending for me was fine. It was completely fine. The Unsullied are going to Narth. I don't know why they're going to Narth, to be honest. Isn't there like a butterfly thing there that gives you diseases for outsiders? I watch too much Alt Shift X. Alt Shift X is a great channel on YouTube. They explain every episode. They do theory videos. They're a really good channel. But in the books, in Narth, there's butterflies that carry diseases that you can die from if you're an outsider. It protects it protects people of Narth from outsiders, basically. I guess that's not in the show. They forgot a lot of things about the show, to be honest. Dothraki, I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. I don't know what the Dothraki are doing. And also, because, well, the Unsullied are gone now. They're not in Westeros anymore. So, then what happens? Like, what happens with the Unsullied? Because, what happens with Jon Snow? Like, he goes back to the Wall again. But what's the point of the Wall? Like, there's no Wildling War, there's no Night King. Unless there is, but there wasn't any signs of one. At least he got the pet ghost, but you know, now that the Unsullied are gone, who has an issue with Jon? So surely you could come back. Nah, it's probably a risk anyway. But still, he's the last Targaryen. I don't know. What is Drogon going to do? Drogon's gone to the east. For me, they gave him a nice ending. Like, the dragon got a nice ending. Carried his mother away. Who knows where they've gone? They could resurrect. Apparently, there's another witch somewhere that can resurrect. That's just a theory, by the way. But that would be crazy, wouldn't it? But yeah, Drogon. I'm glad to see that one dragon survived. So, is there a chance there could be more dragons? Could he? Apparently, dragons could change genders to lay eggs. That's just what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, if they ever wanted to come back to it, maybe George R.R. Martin completes the books and the ending is more complex, and they're like, let's come back for season 9 and 10. Let's finish it off properly. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? But they won't do that. I think they'll just do spin-offs and prequels. So it should be interesting. It should be interesting. Hopefully one of the spin-offs is Arya's adventure. So that would be great. So that's my review for Game of Thrones. I'm gonna give it I'm still gonna give it a 7. Like, for me, like 4 of the episodes were good enough, more than good enough. But episode 4 and 5 was where they messed up. That's why it's not an 8 or a 9. You know, although half of episode 5 was great. No, half episode. Yeah, half episode 5 was great. Destroying Euron ships, God and Company, Lannister soldiers. That was all good. Just after the bells where it went wrong. Visuals are great though. The visuals, because of the visuals, I put it up a little bit. But 7 out of 10 for me. 7 out of 10. But definitely disappointing. Definitely disappointing. But I'm glad it's over now. It's over. Let's move on. Breaking Bad is still the GOATs. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and see ya.